Hello, everyone. My name is Elena. I'm an English teacher at Idiomas EAFID, and I want to tell you a little bit about myself, how I learned English, and how you can do it too. So I'm an avid comic book reader and have been one since I was probably 17 years old. That's when my passion for comics began. Of course, the market for such material here was very limited back then, so I had to ask my relatives in the US to send me whatever they could find that was comic book related. My English at that age was extremely basic, and I had to struggle a lot to understand my first Archie's Digest. The good thing was there were a lot of drawings in them, which made understanding what I was reading a lot easier. If I didn't understand a word, I just had to look at the pictures and guess the meaning. Being a geek 15 years ago wasn't so cool as it is now. Well, as you may have noticed, comics and pop culture in general have become a very popular thing during the past few years due to the mass production of graphic narratives, TV shows, movies, video games, etc. When I became an English teacher, I began to understand that comics and graphic novels were a very powerful tool to enhance literacy skills. Having the ability to read and write in a foreign language is a superpower itself, and reading comic books makes this journey even more interesting for anyone. And the main reason for this material being such a good thing to learn English is because there's a lot of conversations in them. When you read a common book, like this one, Harry Potter, you can find many descriptions or maybe poetical language that is actually not how regular people talk. When reading a comic book or graphic novel, you will find idioms, phrasal verbs, slang, common expressions English speakers use when they talk, and you can clearly see the relation between text and pictures. They're also a wonderful tool to learn grammar because any tense, for example, present perfect, past perfect, continuous, etc., will also come in short fragments. So they're a lot easier to understand than with regular novels. People have the misconception that comics and graphic novels are only about superheroes. And let me tell you that is not true. There are many different types of genres. For instance, a very common popular graphic novel is Mouse, which is about a family living through World War II and the Holocaust. You can see how it's not intended for children. There's another one called American-Born Chinese, and it's about immigrating to the US, and it tells someone's real-life experiences on this matter. And like these two, there are plenty of others that can fulfill anyone's interests, whether it is comedy, history, romance, horror, whatever you're looking for. When you read a regular novel, there are no pictures whatsoever, so people usually lose interest after having to invest so much time looking words up in a dictionary. With a comic book, you can often guess what a word means by just looking at the picture. Another reason there's such a great tool for English learners and why I use comics at my classes at EAFID is that you can find many types of characters. You can find children, you can find teenagers, adults, seniors, and each of these groups will use a different type of English. So you will be exposed to different levels of formality. Professor Xavier, for instance, will use a very formal language, whereas a character like Harley Quinn will use a very childlike language full of wordplays and puns. That way you can better understand the type of English different people use. As you have seen so far, there's a lot of information you can get about English language just from reading comic books and graphic novels. So my advice to you with all of this is to let comics and graphic novels become part of your learning or teaching experiences. Try to find one that resonates with you and your interests. You may be surprised at how easy it is to learn or teach with them. That way you can have your own superpowers. Thank you very much.